back to Rating the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad. And on this episode, we'll be exploring number 42 from Sports Illustrated's The Top 50 Sports Movies of All Time.
All right, and tonight we're doing number 42. Number 42 is Pride of the Yankees. Released in 1942, directed by Sam Wood, starring Gary Cooper and Teresa Wright.
A biopic following the life and early death of New York Yankees legend Lou Gehrig.
Okay, so I actually enjoyed this movie. It kept my interest the whole time. It was about Lou Gehrig. I didn't really know much about him. I knew there was a disease named after him. That was about it. For biopics that came out during this time, it's pretty
decent.
It's pretty good.
And it doesn't do like the thing where it kind of really like overinflates stuff. Like they stick pretty close for the most part to the story that's out there about him. He was a very well-educated person. So at that time, you didn't have a lot of college players. Most professional players were very blue-collar guys that, sometimes didn't even graduate high school. So he was kind of an anomaly. He went to, I think, Columbia, if I remember.
Yes.
So he was more interested in going to college than playing baseball. He ended up having to kind of pay for some family stuff, which kind of ended his college career. But, he's in the Hall of Fame, so maybe decision was the right one made.
Yeah. They do go into his upbringing as a child of immigrants and how, she was like, no, you're going to college. I came here for you to have opportunities. You're not playing baseball. And she was very adamant about that. So when he, started playing baseball, he was hiding it from her. He told his dad, but he was hiding it from her because he was worried that she would be, disown him.
But then he's doing so well. He's in the paper and like family, friends, neighborhood,
They're
people.
like, aren't you proud of your son?
Everyone's like talking about him. It's just like, she doesn't even know what the hell they're talking about. And then finally goes to see him play and realizes that he's actually really, really good.
The love story is really good.
She's great. Teresa Wright is the best part of this movie.
She is really great. She's really good. And the way they meet and how didn't he trip her? Yeah, she
tripped him first.
Yeah, she tripped him first.
So he kind of did it as a joke.
Yeah, and he tripped her. It was like all in good fun.
Yeah.
But it's really sweet. It's a really sweet love story mixed into this biopic. I don't know if that's really how their relationship was. I'm hoping it was like that.
Yeah, I don't really know a lot about his personal life.
Yeah.
I just kind of I know his like baseball life. So, he's known as the Iron Man. So he took over a game for a guy who was basically a trivia question named Wally Pipp. He was the first baseman for the Yankees. He had some problem with his eyes and had to come out of the game. And Lou Gehrig went in and he stayed there for 2,030 games in a row, I think.
Yeah.
I forget what his record was. That record lasted until Cal Ripken passed it in the 90s. So he played consecutively like over 2,000 games, which makes the fact that he had this disease that eventually prevented him from playing very sadly ironic. This was a guy, he went in. If you've ever played baseball, it's a really long season. It doesn't seem, on the outside, it doesn't really seem like it's very physically demanding, but it really takes a toll on your body to play. He was playing 150 games every season.
Wow.
And he did it every year for like 14 straight years.
Crazy.
Never missed a game. Stayed in, played. I think he played like every single inning too. If you play like 5 innings or something, it's considered playing an official game. But
he just stayed in.
He just stayed in day and day out. and he had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he just couldn't go on the field. No one kind of understood what it was, and he got this, this diagnosis for ALS, which you'll often hear referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease, especially up until probably the last 20 years.
Yeah. What's interesting is Lou Gehrig played with Babe Ruth, and Babe Ruth played himself.
Yeah, there were several Yankees from those teams that Lou Gehrig were on that were in the movie.
Yeah.
This was before Babe Ruth got sick himself. So he still looked reasonably like himself, and he could do his baseball scenes reasonably well still. So that was interesting. He's actually fairly decent on screen.
Yeah. I was like, wait, is that the real guy?
Yeah.
It took me a minute. I didn't realize they played together. That's how little I know about it.
Yes.
But also what's kind of cool about this movie is they had other little storylines interwoven with it, like the reporters, the newscasters that would report the games. They kind of had a little competition going. One of the guys didn't think Lou Gehrig was going to be anything. He was like, he's going to, And the other guy had complete faith in him and actually became a good friend of Lou Gehrig's.
And that was a lot more common back then, where reporters fraternized with the players a lot. That's why Babe Ruth frankly got away with a lot of the stuff that he did with his drinking and womanizing and stuff like that. Stuff that would hit all the papers today.
Oh yeah.
There's a professional distance now with reporters and athletes that didn't exist back then.
God, they should have that with celebrities.
You'd think.
Yeah. Really good movie. Kept my interest the whole time.
The only thing that took me out of it a little bit is when, Gary Cooper in his 40s is playing Lou Gehrig in his late teens, and
I feel like they did that a lot.
And you could see, he you look at his hands. He's got
old man hands.
He's got middle-aged man hands.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a younger person's hands.
Not at all.
And he just, when you're that age, it's really hard to carry yourself
like a young person.
There's just you get a little road weary. As the longer that you live, it's really hard to kind of play someone.
Yeah.
At that point, even like today with with the de-aging and the Benjamin Button technology and all that stuff, it's really hard to even pull that off now. So.
But see, what's interesting is this came out in 1942, right?
Which is not long after he passed away.
And to me, it's during that time they had actors that would carry movies. Yeah. And I think that's why he was cast as a role. So people would go see it.
They still do that today.
They do that to a certain degree.
Yeah, and he's good. And he gives the actual speech. So you can find the actual Lou Gehrig speech where he comes out and most people have probably heard it and don't even realize they've heard it. I consider myself the luckiest man in the world speech, basically. He gives it, they do it verbatim in the movie. And you can see the newsreel footage and then watch it against the movie. It's really well done.
That's good. Yeah, it is well done. The only complaint I really have about the movie is it's a little slow. Yeah. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I'm surprised they haven't redone this. I'm surprised they haven't redone a Lou Gehrig biopic.
I mean, there aren't a lot of baseball movies that are being made right now.
Why is that?
I don't know. There's not a lot of studio fronting sports movies right now. I think part of that is because everything's kind of superhero focused.
Yeah,
right
that's true.
These are not huge tentpole types of movies. Generally, they're smaller, middle budget kinds of dramas, and those are the kinds of movies that don't get made anymore.
Well, and also, a typical sports movie is really kind of like a superhero movie.
A little bit.
A little you
Yeah,
know, personal journey. The bad guys, the good guys, they come out in the end and win the champion. It's kind of the same thing.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
You gotta really now, I would
This is-
think you would need to really, like, find unique
Well,
stories
and that's
to
why,
tell.
like, we, some of the stuff that we've watched recently that's newer, that's kind of where they go with that stuff.
Right.
They don't make this kind of biopic necessarily
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, like, you have, like, the Tanya Harding
Mm-hmm.
biopic, which is completely different, about an ice skater for one thing, and there was like a big scandal, but you know, things like that I think would capture people's...
Or Warrior, which we just watched recently,
really
which is
good.
a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still kind of the same formula,
Well,
but
I mean, this
different.
whole genre is full of tropes
Yes.
and formula. For me, like, when you do it really, really well, you do it really, really well.
Yeah.
And it works. Like Grand Prix. That is a movie full of tropes and formulas, and it works.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with tropes and formulas. The thing for me, though, is you have to really do a really, really good job.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
This one does a pretty good job of it.
Okay. How did we score it?
I gave it a 61. You gave it a 70. So the list score is 65.5.
All right. Let us know if you've seen this movie, Pride of the Yankees. Let us know what you thought of this movie. Is it one of your faves? Faves. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. If you'd like to email us directly, please do so at ratingthelist@gmail.com. I think that's it for now. I'm Jerry.
I'm Brad.
And we're Rating the List. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.